Marta, congrats. It was a tough match. My question is about Hawkeye system. Right now you played, it was not all points were like clear what's happened. What do you think? Should this system put in clay tournaments like this?
I think they had I think they had Hawkeye in Madrid last year, and it really didn't work well. There were some really big mistakes on clay. I think, yeah, I mean, everyone makes mistakes. So I think for clay, for hard court, it's amazing, this system. I don't think it ever makes any mistakes. It's very, very precise. But on clay, it's a little bit different. And I think the machine are making the same mistakes as referees can, chair umpires. So I don't see it really as a necessity on clay. I don't think so.
Marta, first of all, congratulations. It was an epic match. I mean, your matches with Coco start to be epic because the Australian Open was also the same. We were here to get on the numbers, and we saw like there were 31 games and 16 breaks.
Nice.
So it was a crazy game. Yeah, it was a crazy game. And I want to ask you, what did you think made you win this match in the end?
I don't know. I don't know, because we both were struggling on serve, and we were struggling throughout the match as well. And I don't know. I think it's the same like yesterday. It's the matter of a point or two, like you just play, you fight till the end, and then whoever is better wins. I don't know. I don't know how it works really, because I wish I knew. Then I would win, I think, everything. But I don't know. It's very, very close, and I was also returning really well today at some, especially her first serves. I feel like I was doing really well, and she felt under pressure all the time. I was just serving not good. So I don't know. I think it's just, really a matter of a couple of points. I don't think there is something major that's made the difference.
Okay, last one. Yeah.
Marta, what makes Marketa a difficult semi-final opponent?
I played against her last year in Fed Cup. I think this is the only time I played her. She plays great. She plays great on clay, and she uses the whole court. She takes her pace. She's very different from all the players I played this week, and I think this is what makes tennis really beautiful and interesting sport, because everyone is completely different. I don't know. I think she's just a very solid, very, very good and solid player. It was actually so funny, because I remember now that last year, before the beginning of our tie, I said, Marketa didn't have good results recently, but she's the player who can win like Grand Slams and this, and 2 months later she wins Wimbledon. I'm like, great. So I think, I hope tomorrow will be another great match, another great show, and let's play some beautiful tennis.
All right, thank you very much. Thank you.
If you enjoyed
Ready? Play.
Well, hello there, and welcome to Talking Tennis. I hope we've had time to get our breath back after that rather bonkers semi-final we just had, and we're ready to get into the second semi-final between Marta Kostyuk and Marketa Vondrousova, which has just started. Kostyuk has just dragged a forehand wide to get to 15-30 in this opening service game. I'm very, very pleased to be covering this with Matt. Hello, Matt. How are you?
Hi, thanks for having me. I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, I'm doing well. I'm doing well, thank you. Well, I mean, regular viewers of the channel will probably think I'm probably not doing that well right now, but we move.
You're a Swiatek fan.
I am a Swiatek fan, yes.
I suppose these streaks have got to come to an end at some point.
I mean, she wasn't even on a winning streak. Oh yeah, the Stuttgart streak.
The tournament.
Yeah, no, she was going to lose eventually. And I can't think of a better player to lose to be honest. I mean, Rybakina is one of the best players in the world right now and a worthy rival for Swiatek. We can get into that in a minute because it's currently 15-40 between on the Kostyuk serve. We'll obviously need to so we can get the score back on the screen. There we go, 15-40. I'll see what's happening here and then we can sync up streams. Kostyuk serves middle of the box and the return from Vondrousova is way in the tram line, meaning it's 30-40 and the first break point has been saved. Have you seen this yet, Matt?
No, I think I'm slightly behind. I think I'm a point behind. Let me see if I can get it level.
That's fine. It's one of these things with this, right? Great inside-out forehand from Kostyuk, winner, close to the line, but clutch on break point, and it's deuce. So already drama in this semi-final. I mean, do we have enough energy for more drama?
I don't think Kostyuk could have any more energy for drama. She's literally nearly played 9 hours this week compared to Vondrousova's played, I think, 4 less hours than she has, which is it's crazy, but she just seems to keep fighting no matter what the score is.
Kostyuk puts the winner away for advantage. So that's that. So I'm going to be looking at this and letting you know if there's anything dramatic happening. Yeah, Kostyuk obviously has been through about 3 really tough battles, but her last 2 particularly difficult, having to have 8 match points for Egov for the last match, saving match points against Zhang Qinwen. How she's still in this tournament, I don't think even she knows.
No, not at all.
Yeah, I mean, I've been. I mean, this as we Kostyuk has held, by the way, for the opening game. This Stuttgart tournament has been full of fantastic matches, start to finish. I mean, we've just had our 12th 3-set match of the tournament. All of the 3-setters have been pretty good, or at least dramatic enough to be interesting. And there have been a couple of interesting really good quality straight set matches as well. I'm thinking of Paolini beating Jabeur and Swiatek taking down Raducanu. But the Kostyuk matches seem to have stood out, or at least they stand out particularly to Vanch when I asked him about it.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't see all of it, but from what I have seen of the Kostyuk Goff match, I think it was more in terms of the drama rather than the quality of tennis. But I mean, at the end of the day, it's better than having no drama or quality of tennis. It's better to have one or the other. Because I think it was very similar at the Australian Open. I don't think the quality of tennis was there, but the drama certainly was.
Yeah, although I do think that the quality of tennis was better in this Stuttgart match than the Australian Open match.
Yeah, agreed. From what I've seen, yeah, definitely. And obviously, this is a very different type of match. Vondrousova was a completely different player to Goff. Probably more crafty, whereas Goff is, I would say, I'd say more of a standard, typical sort of player.
Yeah, I could see that. Certainly, Goff has. She doesn't tend to go for drop shots or slices as often. Maybe she should. But yeah, Vondrousova likes to move opponents around a little bit more and use more spins in the game, for sure. I mean, Vondrousova is having, after a tough start to 2024, I say tough, Definitely tough right at the start of the season. I think she's been slowly getting into the stride again, but looking like she's feeling good again now she's back on her favourite surface. Yeah,
well, that's the funny thing is that she's a Wimbledon champion, but she's not really known as a grass court player at all. She's known as more of a clay courter. And because I think their only previous meeting of Vondrousova and Kostyuk was very one-sided. I think it was in the Billie Jean King Cup, and Vondrousova won to the loss of like 3 games.
Yeah. And what surface was that?
Clay. I think it was in Antalya because I think Ukraine were the hosts. Obviously, couldn't host it.
Interesting. As Vondrousova puts a forehand into the net to get to the 30 all. I think Kostyuk will probably be a bit more competitive today because, something about Kostyuk this year. She's taken a step up. She's coming 9th in the race and has been regularly going deep in tournaments. Not deep enough that she's like getting really big points yields, like winning a 500, reaching 1,000 final. I think if the draw was there for her, she could make out semi-finals of RG.
Yes, I possibly. I think her best at Roland Garros is the 4th round. I don't.
Yes.
But it's definitely possible. I mean, I don't think she's particularly got a surface where she's like a specialist. I think she's kind of a bit of an all-rounder. She tends to be decent on all surfaces. I think just this year, her fighting spirit has been the real standout.
Okay, well, we've got I think it's standing out. I think there's room for her to have a big result. I mean, look, we're saying this. She could win Stuttgart, although she still needs to get through another two Grand Slam champions to achieve that.
I mean, yeah, it's definitely possible. I just think that the amount of time she's spent on court this week, it's going to be a hell of an effort, especially when your opponent has spent like a fraction of that time.
And even if she gets through Vondrousova, the level of intensity Rybakina is going to bring is going to be something else.
Yeah, I mean, Rybakina just, as much as obviously she does feel the emotion, she just seems to just block it out and just stay strong. I mean, her serve is such a weapon as well. She can just use it whenever she's breakpoint down or just try to serve out a match.
And we saw that against Świątek just now. Vondrousova tried to do a drop shot, conceded put it in the net, and now it's back to deuce. The lefty forehand trying to go sort of inside in is just inside the court. It was a bit of a high risk shot, but she goes for it. So, but yeah, she's got that point, so she's got advantage in this game. But yeah, I get spot on about Rybakina, I would say, to your point. That serve is kind of carrying her through. And I have to say, when I looked at the draw pre-tournament, I was looking at it going, Świątek might be vulnerable, albeit I thought she'd be vulnerable to someone like Noskova or Ostapenko. Even these slightly faster clay conditions would give Rybakina a bit more of a boost. And I was looking at Rybakina's draw going, Rybakina could win this even before the tournament.
See, I actually had Rybakina winning it, and I don't know. I weirdly had her winning it before the tournament, and then as it went on, I was thinking, no, Świątek, because it's just hard not to think that Świątek's going to win any tournament, let alone a clay court tournament that she's won twice before. But I'm kind of glad that I stuck to my guns and went for that. But I think what swayed me was the head-to-head with Świątek in recent times. I know Świątek won the final in Doha, but I think it's now 4-2 to Rybakina.
I think it should be. I mean, look, I have the controversial opinion that Świątek would have won Rome if she hadn't retired. I think that was a precautionary retirement that she did, and she was kind of up in that match. And the slower conditions do give Świątek a bit more time. I think she would have gritted that one out if she'd stuck with it. So, in my mind, the head-to-head should be 3-3. But I appreciate that's one of those what ifs. But even in that scenario, Rybakina is an absolute that rivalry. She is probably Świątek's biggest proper rival because Ostapenko is not consistent enough to be there.
Yeah.
And I actually think that Świątek and Rybakina may well end up being the story of 2024 in the WTA side.
It's definitely possible. I mean, I think with Rybakina, it's just staying fit and healthy because when she is playing, she's reaching finals, winning titles. I think this is, I don't know if this is exactly right, but is it a 4th or 5th final this year?
5th, I think it's. She got to it was what was it? Brisbane, Doha, Abu Dhabi, Doha, Miami, and then now Stuttgart. So yeah, 5th.
Yeah, I mean that's crazy at this time of year to already be doing that, especially when you haven't been well.
Yeah. that getting taken out like that with illness, I think she probably would have won Dubai if she wasn't ill. No offense to Jasmine Paolini. But with Swiatek when Swiatek dipped off in the semis against Kalinskaya, you had and then it was right there for her. Indian Wells, I think, would have been tough. I think Swiatek is very comfortable there, very similar to Doha. I think Swiatek would have still won that tournament, but Rybakina is there. Matthew's wondering how much energy Rybakina has left. I'll let you kind of tackle that one before I swing in with my opinion.
I mean, it's a good question. I suppose it really depends on who her opponent is, because if her opponent in the final is Vondrousova, then I think that's probably more of a valid question than if it was Kostyuk, because Kostyuk has been on the court for so long, and we don't know how long this match is going to be. But yeah, it's definitely a talking point. But at the same time, I do think with Rybakina's serve, she probably could shorten the point a little bit, but then that is a lot of reliance on your serve to have to do that if you're not feeling 100%.
Which Rybakina kind of does when she's not 100%. Is she's that's her fallback, is her serve needs to be firing. I've seen her win when her serve isn't great, like her first serve isn't finding the court, and she still grits it through. I'm not concerned about her energy levels. Everyone makes a fuss about her health, and I'm like, is that a factor? Yes. Is that something that we can tangibly know? No. So don't think about it too much.
Unless she says it, then there's no point pondering over something we don't know about.
Exactly. It's a bit like it's the same with, you don't know what anyone's energy levels are going to be like. You don't know what anyone's what injuries or anything else they're carrying, and you just have to assume they don't have any, unless they say something.
Definitely. I mean, I suppose Swiatek could come out in the press conference today and say that she wasn't feeling 100%, and we wouldn't have known that before. So we couldn't have speculated over it, but it's just one of them things. Tennis tournaments are the way they are for a reason. I mean, you've got to win in this tournament. I think you've got to win 4. I suppose it depends on if you're a seed or not, like how high seed you are, but 4 or 5 matches to.
Generally, yeah. So like Stuttgart, you need to win 4 matches if you're the top 4 seeds. Everyone else will be 5. Generally, I think most tournaments it's around 5, like 500 level. Even most thousands, it's 5. Maybe with these now 2-week 1000s, it'll become 6 more frequently. Grand Slams, obviously 7, and I think. Everyone kind of says that's not a distinctive enough thing, but I actually think winning that 7th match is a big deal. To carry that momentum for 1 extra match is quite an effort.
Yeah, I mean, I think I could be wrong, but Collins, when she won Miami, I think she won 7 matches.
She did, yeah, because Miami's a bigger draw.
And obviously she wasn't seeded. So, I mean, it just goes to show, like, she had to win 1 more match than all the seeds, and she beat plenty of seeds on the way.
She did indeed. I wanted you to, by the way, Matthew had about 5 minutes ago, 10 minutes ago, which I'm sorry I haven't raised it before now, putting a tribute in the chat for Garbine Muguruza, who announced her retirement from tennis today. Not massively surprised, given she's not played in over a year. She recently appeared in the commentary booth, was talking like she had no intention of coming back. So it's formally confirming it. It just, I think, in the bigger picture of her career, given she's only 30, it does feel a bit soon. But hey, if she's not enjoying it, it's not worth it.
No, I mean, yeah, like you said, it's not a surprise at all. I saw that she was having a press conference today, and it kind of everything pointed towards retirement. 30 does feel a bit, but at the same time, she, like, you can tell she wasn't enjoying it when she was playing, and she seems to be enjoying life away from the tour. So you've got to do what makes you happy, and I think she's now an ambassador for Laureus. So just got to see where that takes her. I mean, she says she's going to try and stay within the tennis sporting realm, so we've just got to see where that takes her.
I think she was doing some commentary for a Spanish channel, so I wouldn't be surprised if she continues doing that. I'd be interested to see sort of what kind of commentator she is.
Yeah, I suppose it depends. She probably won't be doing English commentary. I don't know how strong her English is, but if she's doing for Spanish, then I don't know if that's something I will come across. But it'll just be nice to see her in any sort of tennis world at all, because she's been away from so long, and it just kind of felt a bit like a sad ending, really, because she was on I think six match losing streak. She'd lost plenty of other matches, and it was like ever since winning the WTA finals in 2021, it just seemed to like fall off a cliff, really.
Maybe she just struggled to keep the motivation going to get the job done, or I don't know. There was obviously something kind of mental going on there, but she won't tell us about it, so it's none of our business.
No, exactly.
30-all, by the way, in the Vondrousova serve. She's gone wide going up T. So Kostyuk is potentially trying to manufacture a break point here. She's stepping a little bit inside the baseline to receive. Goes for the backhand up the middle. Forehand Vondrousova to the backhand of Kostyuk cross court. Forehand on the left from Vondrousova. Kostyuk pushing Vondrousova very wide by that forehand. Now goes for the amazing backhand mid-court, up high, shoulder height at the net. Winner 30-40, and Kostyuk has a break point. That big points. And look, we were talking about Kostyuk's energy levels. She needs to get on the front foot pretty quickly here.
I think winning the first set is pretty important, because as much as she's done so well fighting back and from scorelines, like, I don't think it's the best idea today, because I think you just, when you've got like, realistically, you've got to, if you want to win this match, you're going to win the title, and you've got to kind of think about both matches.
Okay, so we went into a bit of a rally here, and Vondrousova trying to go for the cross-court forehand, just misses the line, and Marta Kostyuk has the break for 3-1.
I mean, she's already won the same amount of games in this match as she did in the only previous meeting, so it's a massively improved start.
And she probably didn't even break serve in the previous meeting.
I'd highly doubt it. I think they were actually supposed to play Indian Wells, but Vondrousova pulled out.
So it
never happened.
Most improved player of the year, do you think, Kostyuk?
Yeah, probably. Maybe. Yeah, I would say the ones that come to mind are her and Bolter, but I would probably put her against Bolter. Mm-hmm. Her ahead of Bolter in terms of just every tournament I'd back her, because Bolter's not going to be reaching the quarters of Roland Garros, whereas I think Kostyuk could.
Could Bolter make the quarterfinals of Wimbledon, though?
With a good draw, possibly, yes. But it has to be a good draw. And it's definitely... So I suppose with her having a chance of being seeded, that would be a big factor.
I think they'd both be seeded at this rate, as Kostyuk has gone along with a forehand 15-30. Vondrousova's trying to carve an opportunity to break back. I mean, it's interesting you're saying, obviously, between Bolter and Kostyuk. They did play in the San Diego final, and Bolter won that match, although I will concede that she was having the week of her life. That tournament.
She was. And she lost, and couldn't back it up in India Wells. I think lost quite heavily to Georgia in the first round. I find Bolter's quite streaky. She's very good on her day, and can definitely, on grass, can definitely beat the higher ranked opponent, but I wouldn't back her on clay at all.
No, I mean, like, she did all right against Clara Burrell. Obviously got that win at the Virgin King Cup. And that was critical after a very, very close first set. But that was her first tour match win on clay. I don't think she's the strongest clay court player. And I certainly, if we're focusing on the clay season, we're not factoring her as a contender. Raducanu, though.
I think she's very comfortable on clay. It's hard to imagine that she hasn't actually played that many matches, but she doesn't seem any less comfortable on clay.
What a rally we got here. Sorry to interrupt. I'll let you finish your point in a minute. But we had a very, very interesting rally there with a fantastic drop shot by Vondrousova that Kostyuk just managed to reach, put it in an awkward spot, and the lob attempt from Vondrousova ended up over the baseline. So it's game point Kostyuk. Continue your point, sorry.
No, I was just saying that, like, Raducanu just seems as comfortable on a clay court from so far than she does on any court really, which is a good sign. It's nice to see a British player who seems comfortable on clay courts, because especially on the WTA tour, clay court has not particularly been our strongest point in recent years.
Okay.
No, I mean, I would say that other than Bolter and Raducanu, we haven't particularly got the strongest WTA players anyway. But
I think
especially
in a Billie Jean Cup scenario, like, they tend to come and play. But I see your point. Like, right, currently, without having said that, we have 2 other top 100 players.
True.
Is now solidly top 100, and is someone who has had a bit of potential for a while. Jodie Burrage is just about top 100, but is currently injured again. Shame for her. So we're getting there, and obviously we've got a couple of juniors. I mean, not quite currently there, but like the future looking good with Isabel Lacey and Hannah Klugman coming through.
Yes, definitely. I think Hannah Klugman is the one that everyone's sort of looking towards, especially after winning the Orange Bowl, which has kind of been a big indicator for many players coming up. I think, did Coco Gauff win the Orange Bowl?
I'd have to look that up. I think she was definitely a contender at it.
Yeah.
But I would need to look it up. So we can get that. We're at change events, by the way. 4-1 Kostyuk is held, and Vondrousova. No, we just finished change events, so Vondrousova is coming out. Let's see if Gauff's on this list, because yes, she is. Coco Gauff won 2018 18 and under tournament.
Right. So she's obviously kind of a good sign of what that tournament can propel you on to do. And I think there's been other top winners as well.
Yeah, I mean, to do that actually in 2018 at the age of what would have been like 14 at the time.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
Beating a lot of girls older than her is quite impressive.
Which I suppose is the same as Klugman, who is, I think, 14 or was 14 at the time of winning it, at least.
Yeah, I think Hannah Klugman already has a Wikipedia page, which is scary. 15 now, born in February. But that was last year, actually. So yeah, she would have been 14 last year when it happened. Love 15, by the way. Vondrousova is trying to not to go down too quickly. That's a good forehand up the line, which Kostyuk's having to defend, but she's getting it back. And that drop shot doesn't even reach the net from Vondrousova, or barely reaches it. Love 30. Previous winners of the Women's Orange Bowl. Bianca Andreescu, Sophia Kenin. In recently, sort of beginning of the 2010s, Caroline Wozniacki's won it. Vera Zvonareva won it twice, and Elena Dementieva back in the late 90s. Not a lot of Grand Slam champions. Sabatini back in '84. You've got some players who've definitely shown a lot of potential winning it, but not every winner by any means has come through and had a great career. Love 40, by the way. First set is long from Marketa Vondrousova. So Marta Kostyuk is hoping for that double break insurance here. I'm going to talk us through this point, then we can finish off whatever we were talking about. Backhand, just clips the net on the return from Kostyuk. Now she lands up the forehand up the line. Backhand cross court from Vondrousova. Slice on defense from Kostyuk, just clears it. Slice from Vondrousova. Forehand Kostyuk. Backhand Vondrousova up the line. Backhand Kostyuk looped. Forehand Vondrousova cross court. Backhand on the defense again. Somehow Kostyuk's running everything down. Now she gets the forehand to play for the pass, and she gets it. Breaks to love, 5-1. She'll be serving for the set in a minute.
It's a great start from Kostyuk so far. Just exactly what she needed to do. After such grueling matches, she just needed to take it. But at the same time, she still got a hold, because I remember against Siegmund, she was leading quite heavily in that match and got pegged back a few times.
I didn't see that one. I heard it was dramatic more because of Siegmund's behaviour.
Well, that's just every Laura Siegmund match, I think.
Laura Siegmund, friend of the show, by the way. As we have, they were into a rally at the minute, and somehow both Vondrousova's return is in court. They're now into a rally. Backhand scrambled by Kostyuk, who then drop shots, but it goes into the net. Love 15. Trying to serve this out. I'm having the Orange Bowl. Yeah, most champions are people who've had decent careers or got a couple of top level wins, but the minority of winners are the ones who went on to win Grand Slams.
At the end, just going back to the question about other people who've had a good year in terms of like rising stars as such, I would say Emma Navarro possibly.
Yeah.
Top. I think last year she did a lot of grind on the Challenger Tour. Since she beat Sabalenka, Indian Wells, and just she seems to be like just one of those Americans that's just good. She just does a lot of the basic things very well.
She does indeed. Yeah. Emma Navarro is someone, who, she says, kind of scrapped her way in there and kind of snuck into the top 30, but has now knocking the door of top 20 and showing that she definitely belongs. Is now in setting up a very interesting battle for the American Olympic singles spots.
Yeah.
Great art. Kostyuk out drop shots Vondrousova to move to set points, and that's going to help. That's going to make Stefano very happy. Hello, Stefano. If you are Team Kostyuk, you're probably loving life right now as she's coming out for set points here in Stuttgart. Goes out wide on the serve. There's some question about whether she made it or not. I thought it looked good. Maria Cicek is saying it's just out in the chair, so Kostyuk's going to have to do a second serve. Which probably isn't great for you, Stefano, or for Marta Kostyuk, who's now shaking her head. Probably she was hoping that would be the end of the set. Her coach looks on, goes out wide with the first serve, so it was let by the sound of it. So they're doing this again, 40-15. Second serve for Kostyuk. Vondrousova steps in on the return, backhand in play, backhand cross court, Kostyuk into the net. And it's 40-30. So first set point saved by Marketa Vondrousova. Kostyuk goes up the tee. Backhand from Vondrousova short. Forehand inside out from Kostyuk. Out. Overhit that one. Deuce. Second set point comes and goes. She does not want life difficult here.
I wonder if that serve's played on her mind, because also she clearly thought it was in.
She's definitely looking annoyed with herself, Kostyuk. Now goes out wide with the first serve. She's got a great first serve, goes for the +1, comes in behind it, and Vondrousova kind of tries to block it back into play and ends up not even in the tram line, since it's another set point for Marta Kostyuk. Am I still a point ahead?
Yes.
Okay.
I don't really know what else I could.
There's not a lot. Sometimes there's just not a lot you can do.
Yeah.
I've been there before. It's fine. We'll just sort of react as we go. But we've got advantage for Marta Kostyuk on a second serve. Backhand. Oh, just clips the net from Vondrousova, makes the court, and Kostyuk is caught out by that and puts her backhand long, back to deuce. Another third. Another set point comes and goes. Thank you, Stefano, for subscribing. Hope you enjoy all the content you're about to get from us. First serve out wide from Kostyuk, who then follows up with a +1 forehand, just makes it inside. Then backhand up the line. No, she puts it into the net. Now it's break point Vondrousova. There's a lot of scrappy errors coming from the Kostyuk racket now. Maybe out of desperation of trying to finish this set. So Marta Kostyuk, instead of now going set points, has now got his defender break point, gets the first serve in play, then goes for the forehand cross court. Slice from Vondrousova's looped up, just lands in. Backhand cross court from Kostyuk. Vondrousova's run it down with the forehand. Now goes for the backhand to the forehand of Kostyuk, cross court. Into the net. Kostyuk, forehand was loopy, pushed back, and it's in the net. And Vondrousova gets the break, 5-2, gets one of those breaks back, and maybe a little bit of momentum in this match.
I think especially when she was 40-15 up, that's going to be, was it 40-15 or 40-30?
I think it was 40-15, yeah.
Yeah, that's going to sting, especially when she thought she had a serve on one of those set points. She just needs to recompose for this return game.
Yeah, I think you definitely could tell that moment got on her head a bit.
Definitely.
But she has been the better player, and she's got a big enough serve that she should be able to go again, although I think she'll probably want to break Vondrousova again just to be sure.
Yeah, and obviously that would give her the first service game in the second set, and it's always nice to be the front runner. Even though I do see that a lot of more players on the toss elect to return these days.
That is true. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I find that interesting. I mean, you have to ask a pro why that is. Most people at like club level or whatever want to serve first. I very rarely meet someone who wants to receive. I don't know. Are you much of a player, Matt?
I
At
wouldn't
tennis?
say, yeah, I wouldn't say I'm much of like I wouldn't say I'm anywhere near like competitive at like a club level. I have played some like local tennis leagues and things like that. But I would always choose to serve if I won the toss. I think it's just that mentality, just to try and get yourself in the lead.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I'm glad to see someone else knows what a local tennis league is, because whenever I mention I'm in one, I'm like, everyone's like, "What is that?" Highly recommend to any British viewers watching.
They're really good. It's a shame that, at least from where I live, like it seems to be very summer, and then they seem to get cancelled throughout the winter and
Yeah.
autumn as well.
Yeah, well, where I am, there's no courts with floodlights, and the
It's
indoor
not
courts aren't great, so it's
ideal.
not ideal. So yeah, you kind of have to stop in the winter. Oh, that's a Marketa Vondrousova special. Just lots of slicing and dicing, and eventually wrong footing Marta Kostyuk and getting the point. 15-love. By the way, Stefano, don't absolutely fine for you to be subscribed. Don't worry about being a member. That's not a requirement. But would love to see you in more live chats and talk tennis with you. And feel free to share your opinions on what's going on in this match. Or other matches. That would be great to see. Backhand cross court from Kostyuk, going for the big backhand cross court, misses it, and it's 30-love to Vondrousova, keeping the pressure on Marta Kostyuk right now. Schwan is saying that apparently Kostyuk has beaten Rybakina before, so a final with her will be interesting. But then it comes down to, well, who's going to be as it was saying, like it's going to depend on energy levels. It's going to depend on how confident Rybakina is, to be honest.
Yeah, I can't also imagine Rybakina thinks too much about head-to-heads. Obviously, their games might match up in the way that Kostyuk does suit playing Rybakina, but Rybakina has also won one meeting against, and the most recent meeting against Kostyuk at the US Open, quite convincingly.
Yeah.
So they played in Adelaide last year with Kostyuk winning, and US Open with Rybakina winning.
Unreturnable serve from Marketa Vondrousova, a horrible slice that comes off the line, and I say unreturnable, it was virtue in an ace because Kostyuk only got a frame on it. And now Kostyuk's now got a serve for the set again at 5-3. So we'll see how this one plays out. I mean, going back to our conversation about returning versus serving, I'm actually thinking at the minute with my league, I actually might return first if I can, just because I am much more confident on return than I am on serve.
The weird thing is, so am I, but I think just in my head, I think it's a better idea to serve first. I think it's just because maybe I'm trying to be too much like a professional, and I should actually just play more to my strengths.
Yeah, I get the feeling at our level, the return is actually probably the much bigger weapon.
Agreed.
First serve into the net from Kostyuk at love 15. She's got to hold this together. She does not want to unravel here. She was in such a good position. Love 15, second serve, goes out the tee. Vondrousova just scrambles that one short. Backhand from Kostyuk, who comes into the net. Lob from Vondrousova. Backhand overhead volley from Kostyuk, but it just sets up Vondrousova for the pass, and Kostyuk was in no man's land. It's love 30. Again, Vondrousova now deploying all of her craft and guile to just move Kostyuk all over the place. Love 30. Vondrousova 2 points away from potentially getting this back on serve. First serve in from Kostyuk, but the Vondrousova return is good. Now they're trading at the minute, going cross court to cross court. Vondrousova tries to accelerate backhand up the line, but puts it into the net. It's 15-30. Kostyuk's on the board in this game. First big unforced error we've seen from Vondrousova in a while. In fact, the first point that she's lost after winning 9 consecutive points, according to the graphic that's just appeared on screen. Kostyuk goes out wide with the first serve and then runs in, but the return from Vondrousova doesn't clear the net, and it's 30-all. Kostyuk is now 2 points away from the set again. So here we go, Stuttgart. This is to try and get a set on the board and try and get her halfway to another 500 final. Obviously been in the final before in San Diego where she lost to Katie Bolter. She's got a second serve after the first one has gone into the net, has Marta Kostyuk, who then goes into the second serve, goes out, goes really short, then backhand to the Vondrousova backhand, who goes middle. Forehand, Kostyuk is loopy, and Vondrousova goes up the line. Backhand cross court from Kostyuk again, really, really short. Backhand from Kostyuk again, not even clearing the service line. Vondrousova is putting her back, but still there's lots of topspin and a lot of tight shots going on here. Kostyuk goes cross court to the Vondrousova backhand. Now she keeps going to the Vondrousova backhand, drop shot from Vondrousova, but that's really deep. Another drop shot, and Kostyuk stumbles at the baseline, and so can't pick herself back up in time to reach it. And it's 30-40, break point for Vondrousova to get this back on serve. And that was, just Kostyuk kind of hoping Vondrousova was going to miss, and that just gave Vondrousova the ammunition to just disrupt her and then go for that killer drop shot.
I think if Vondrousova manages to break here, it's going to be very tricky for Kostyuk to regroup.
Here we go. Return just clips the net in, but then we've got the Kostyuk comes into the net and finishes it. But Maria Cicek can't call the score because she's too busy sneezing. And it's 30, but it is back to deuce because that was actually a very, very good volley, half volley from Marta Kostyuk to get us back to deuce. Well, apparently it's still break point according to my screen. So obviously something's gone wrong there. There's obviously some kind of let going on. So I thought Kostyuk had saved it. Obviously, there's been some kind of let called there. And with the replay point, Vondrousova breaks. And it's now going to be serving at 4-5. No idea what's going on there. But yeah. I don't know if you've seen what's happening, and maybe I'll have to find out.
Just in the break, it's a massive momentum swing, and it all seems to have stemmed from that serve that got called out, and it just seems to have spiraled since for Kostyuk.
And you can tell, like, Vondrousova's also got a lot of momentum as well. She's finally deploying her game effectively, really disrupting Kostyuk. And I think, Kostyuk was disrupted, and that was enough to give Vondrousova a foothold in the match.
But I suppose with the way Kostyuk's matches have gone this week, it wouldn't be a huge surprise to see her break now and just take the set.
That's true, because the pressure's back on Vondrousova to make good on this now.
But yeah, because she's kind of bridged the gap and probably got to a place where she wasn't expected to be. So now it's all about her actually trying to consolidate that.
So yeah, Vondrousova is now stepping out to serve. I mean, we were talking about potential for a Kostyuk Rebecca in the final. If Vondrousova makes the final, do you see her being able to really disrupt Rebecca?
I think she's probably more. I think Rebecca is a good clay court player, but I think Vondrousova is more naturally suited to the surface. But yeah, I think she could definitely cause issues for her. I don't know what their head-to-head is. I'm just going to have a look now.
Go for it. Well, while you're looking that up, we'll have a look at how this game's going. +1 forehand from Vondrousova cross court. Now trading cross court with Kostyuk on the back and changes direction. Slice from Vondrousova, which leaves Kostyuk for the cross court forehand. Now Kostyuk goes changes direction on the forehand. That's actually a very, very good shot. That's a winner inside out. Love 15, 3 points away from the set. Don't forget, Marta Kostyuk had 2 set points previously. Found the head-to-head yet?
Yes, so actually it's 1-1, and it's kind of, I would say, surprising because Vondrousova won back in 2021 in hardcore in Moscow, and Rebecca beat Vondrousova on clay in Rome last year on her way to the title. So really, based on that head-to-head, Rebecca is probably the favourite on the clay court.
Yeah. I mean, also, this clay court's very different to other clay courts, isn't it?
That is true, because Rome is probably the most similar to Roland Garros in terms of the upcoming tournaments.
Yeah, it's clay, but it's fast clay. Great lob from Kostyuk, who then drops shots Vondrousova, who can't reach that. It's love 30. Kostyuk kind of playing Vondrousova at her own game there, just moving her around the court with some expert craft. Hey Jake, good to see you. It's good to see you too. Hope you are enjoying this match. It's always great to see you on a stream, Jake. What we're going to see with Marketa Vondrousova, she goes out wide on the first serve, misses it. Under pressure now at love 30. Things were seeming to be going her way at this point. Not quite so much now. Second serve, goes up the tee, backhand up the middle from Kostyuk. Vondrousova is kind of stepping in on the forehand. Oh, that's a great return. That's a great shot from Kostyuk, and there's a dispute whether it hit the line or not. Maria Cicek, the umpire, is coming to check it. This is huge. This is either going to be 3 break points or it's going to be 15-30. And she's called Kostyuk shot wide. It's 15-30. Kostyuk is looking over. She doesn't argue. She just accepts it and goes back to her baseline.
I think that's probably the best strategy after the last close line call that affected Kostyuk.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I don't see the value in like really arguing a point. Like it's more
never going to change.
Yeah. Got a great return in play from Kostyuk, then goes for the backhand up the line. Backhand up, just clears the net from Vondrousova. Backhand again, short from Vondrousova. Backhand from Kostyuk. Again, right to the Vondrousova backhand. There's trading at the minute. That looked long from Kostyuk. It was long. It's 30 all, and Kostyuk's got her head slumped now. Not happy with that situation. That was a very tentative rally from both. Vondrousova looked like she could do that all day long. You'll see it in a minute. I keep forgetting you're that far behind. But yeah, there is a certain sense of like, I feel like Vondrousova is one of those players who could just rally all day long, but it's very different in the way that like Daria Kasatkina or Jessica Pegula can.
Yeah, I find Vondrousova a very difficult player to predict. I think she's very inexplicable.
And I think that's probably what makes her very hard to deal with for a lot of players, including the top ones. And that's probably how she ended up winning a Grand Slam. That's how she's reached 2 Grand Slam finals and an Olympic final. Yeah. Honestly, I think a lot of people look at her and go, how did she do that? But I think injury has disrupted her more than necessarily weaknesses in her game.
Yeah, she's she's still only 24. I think people don't realise how young she still is.
Yeah.
She just didn't really back up, other than the Olympics, she didn't really back up the Roland Garros final.
Yeah, and I think that's due to injuries more than anything else. Kostyuk, by the way, trying to go for the haymaker up the line, misses it, and it's 5 games all. I'm also like I see, Jake's got a soft spot for Vondrousova as well, and I can see that. I mean, I tend to prefer the players who have something a bit different to them, other than hit the ball hard.
Yeah, definitely.
But that's personal preference.
Well, because the thing is, there's so many players who just hit the ball hard, especially I would say more on the WTA tour. There's more hard hitters, and as much as that is entertaining to an extent, you kind of want. I think it's interesting when there's a hard hitter versus against someone like a Vondrousova, and you have that contrast.
Yeah, I agree. Which would make a Rebecca and a Vondrousova final very interesting, I think, actually.
Yeah.
Especially on clay. Backhand from Vondrousova on the return at 15 love. Cross court from Kostyuk. They're trading cross court at the minute. Oh, that's a shanked forehand from Kostyuk, 15 all. Yeah, I think I think it makes things more interesting when you've got varied game styles kind of going up against each other. I think the one kind of quite hard hitter that I enjoy watching, or at least the one I enjoy watching the most, is Rebecca, because she's so precise with her strokes.
Yeah, definitely. And the thing is, like, as much as she's a hard hitter, she can also rally. Like, she's not like a drop shotter, but she's also not someone who just has to finish the point early, or it's like nothing. like an Ostapenko. I find Ostapenko is just
Sabalenka and Ostapenko, like when they hit winners, they are absolutely breathtaking to see. It's an amazing feat of what someone can do with a tennis ball. But when they don't do that all the time, and it's just sort of weight of shot, it becomes a little bit for me it's not as interesting, even if some of the things they can come up with are breathtaking every now and again. 40-15, by the way, Kostyuk hoping to get another game on the board, having just lost the previous 3 on the bounce. Is it 3? No, it was 4 on the bounce. And she gets it. Unreturnable serve, 6-5.
That's a big hold. And again, puts the pressure back on Vondrousova.
Absolutely. 47 minutes on the clock here, by the way. So decently competitive set, not quite like the absolute marathon we just had, where they were playing for almost an hour every set. Świątek and Rybakina in that one. I mean, we haven't really talked about that match yet, although I think it's dangerous to start this conversation now. But if you were watching that match, Matt, what do you think made the difference in the Rybakina-Świątek match?
I saw the end of a bit of the end of the second set, and I saw most of the third set. And I would probably just say Rybakina's serve on the big points was probably the big difference. Obviously, she had to break as well. So, and then to consolidate that is the biggest thing, because Świątek is so good at fighting back, especially on clay. I think she just stayed composed. I think that her mentality is what gets her through so many big moments.
I think Świątek had break points in every Rybakina service game after she broke in that third set. Like, she was not out of that match by any means. But what I think you're right. I think the Rybakina serve was a bit more effective at getting her out of trouble. The other reason being is that Rybakina was just all over Świątek's serve on the return, and I don't know whether she was just dialed in today or whether. I think it was probably she was just dialed in on the return today, to be honest. But I think that was kind of, for me, the key difference was she was all over Świątek's serve. And probably when they went into rally and that serve that Rybakina has, it was a battle of first strike. Who was going to get the first strike in and be more effective with it? And it more often that was Rybakina because of that serve.
Yeah, definitely. And I suppose Rybakina's serve against most opponents is enough for her not to be as big on the return. But with Świątek, you kind of have to be dialed in for every single game. You can't relax for a second, especially on clay and a tournament where she is so successful.
Yeah, for sure. So we've got Vondrousova, who's serving up the tee at 30 love. Very effective serve, but they're into a rally now. But Kostyuk's forehand's gone long. 40 love, 3 point, and Vondrousova's got 3 points to take us to a tiebreak. Jake, thanks for asking. I'm all good, other than a little sore from my tennis match yesterday. As we're into a rally now, slice from Vondrousova, backhand over the net, over the baseline from Kostyuk, and we are into a first set tiebreak. And I don't think we would have thought that was going to happen about 20 minutes ago.
No, not at all. And just before we get into the tiebreak, did you win your tennis match?
No, I lost 6-1, 6-3.
Well,
and I held serve once.
We've all been there. I've been double bageled on many occasions.
I'm beyond double bagels now, which is good. So slow but steady progress. But yes, first match of this new league season, and unfortunately, just a little rusty. Haven't played in 6 months.
But did you enjoy it?
Parts of it. I was getting a bit frustrated with how sluggish I was, especially by the end.
I suppose it's understandable when it's the first one.
Backhand cross-court winner from Marta Kostyuk, 1-0. Yeah, understandable. As Jake's saying, I tweeted about this. My forehand was all right. Like I was happy enough with how that was. Most of it. Great serve from Vondrousova, but Kostyuk's got herself into this. Scrambling now. Vondrousova's going for the drop shot. Kostyuk's going to try and reach it, but can't get it over the net. 1-1. And I have to say, Kostyuk is doing very well to keep herself in points.
Yeah,
Even
that's her.
She's keeping herself in it. What was that you were saying, Matt?
Because that's her. Like, I would say that's probably her strongest quality, just to keep fighting and just basically just to make your opponent hit that one extra shot, because at the end of the day, you never know what's going to happen.
And that would explain why her matches with Goff are usually so much of a battle, because Goff is very similar in that respect.
Yes, definitely.
2-1, Vondrousova. As Kostyuk's now on serve again. The shot clock is ticking down to about the 10-second mark, but now Kostyuk's rising into a serve, goes out wide, too good. Vondrousova can't get it back, and it's 2-2. We're into, so Kostyuk's going to be happy with that. Jake is supporting Marketa. Obviously, we've got Stefano in the chat who is supporting Kostyuk. Please be nice to each other. As Kostyuk goes up the line with a forehand, risky move there. Now trying to keep Vondrousova pinned back. Oh, Vondrousova goes for the pass and just misses the sideline. 3-2 Kostyuk. Vondrousova is going to be serving before we change ends. Obviously, Vondrousova is now stepping up, getting ready. Her arms are covered in the memories of past victories. She moves into a serve, goes out wide, misses it. Second serve for Kostyuk to look at in this critical juncture to see whether she can get some momentum into this change of ends. Forehand in play from Kostyuk. Forehand cross court from Vondrousova. Backhand, Kostyuk lifted up, just makes it. Now we're going to another backhand short for Vondrousova to look at with the forehand, which she misses. Puts it in the tram line. 4-2 Kostyuk, who's now up in the tie break, but can she get the job done? I say that because obviously there's been some doubt given she had 2 set points. I don't know how long ago where those 2 set points were.
It feels like an age ago.
Long time ago in a tennis court far away. After Kostyuk had 2 set points, but this match is still going on. She's going to try and make herself some more set points. Another serve for Marketa Vondrousova to try and keep the pressure on Marta Kostyuk as much as possible. Goes up the tee, backhand up the middle from Kostyuk. Forehand cross court, inside in from Vondrousova. Scrambled up by Kostyuk. Vondrousova just puts away the overhead. But Kostyuk somehow reaches it. I think it was a bit too soft from Vondrousova. And Kostyuk's shot just about lands in. Now we've got a backhand from Kostyuk off the short forehand from Vondrousova, who then goes through that forehand. Again, Kostyuk running everything down. Cut backhand up the line from Vondrousova. And there was a correction. The ball was called out by Vondrousova. Kostyuk's hands are in the air. I don't know what she's protesting about because she's won the point. As that backhand was overhit, there was I think Cicek had to overrule it. I think, yeah, that was kind of saying the ball was out. Cicek agrees, and it's 5-2 Kostyuk. She has 2 serves to put this away.
I don't know how she won that point.
I don't know either. I think Vondrousova was just a little bit too confident she was going to win it.
Yeah, a bit complacent.
And unreturnable serve from Kostyuk gives her 4 more set points. 6-2 in this tiebreak, but we know she was 6-2 up in that deciding set tiebreak against Goff. Hopefully she doesn't think about that too much. Oh, she had 3 set points. This is her 4th. Goes out wide on the first serve and opens up the court, and she gets the ball back. Vondrousova's not running for it. She knows she can't make it, and it is Marta Kostyuk who deservedly sits down at this change of ends. A set to the good, but it took a tiebreak when she was leading 5-1.
She got the right result, just the long way around, the scenic route.
Which, as we've been keeping on saying, is not what she wants.
No, I mean, that set was how long?
About an hour.
So she's now almost played. She's approaching 10 hours of time in this tournament on court.
She is indeed. By the way, Stefano gave us an update on his almost namesake, Stefanos Tsitsipas, to say he was in a fight with Dusan Lajovic in Barcelona. I can tell you that Stefanos Tsitsipas is now a double breakup in the deciding set against Lajovic, 4-1. Having the first set was won by Lajovic 7-5. The second set was won by Tsitsipas 6-4. Tsitsipas, provided he doesn't do a Kostyuk, is looking fairly set for a rematch with Casper Ruud in the Barcelona final 1 week on from their Monte Carlo encounter. Thoughts on that?
I mean, I think Casper Ruud needs to perform better than he did last week, for starters. And it's just that thing of him in finals above 250. He's lost, I don't know how, countless amount. He's only won 250 titles. And I just think it needs to be now if he's actually going to come good. And I think Tsitsipas, obviously, he's played a lot of tennis. He's had to fight in this match. Ruud's come through today much more comfortably against Echeverry, so he should have that advantage.
Yeah, but I think there's also a benefit sometimes to having a battle with if you're a tennis player, because you're kind of fired up. Afterwards. I generally find that people who've had the fight are more likely to win. It's about how many fights you have and how long they take.
I suppose with this final as well, it's not just about Ruud getting a title above 250. It's also about Tsitsipas. If he does make the final, it'll be his 4th Barcelona final, and he's never won one before. So it's whether he needs to, for himself, will want to get across the line for the first time.
Yeah. I mean, look, given he's been in so many Barcelona finals and the people he's lost to have been Nadal and Alcaraz.
Oh, yeah.
Nadal very narrowly back in 2021 as well, where Tsitsipas had match point in that encounter. It was, I feel like you're right. I was going to, it feels a little bit overdue and hopefully Tsitsipas doesn't get that in his head. But because of the fact he feels good in Barcelona, because he just beat Ruud, I would make him the favourite if they played in the Barcelona final.
I think I would as well, just purely because of Ruud's final record.
Which, by the way, above 250 is 0 for 7. His 250 finals record is 10 for 4. So he's 10-11 overall.
It's crazy. I mean, I'm trying to think of some of his opponents. Obviously, the Roland Garros finals were Djokovic and Nadal. That's completely understandable.
Also, Ruud has lost his last 5 finals.
Of any sort?
Any sort, yeah. So includes 50 titles.
To Jordan Thompson in Los Cabos, I think it was.
Yeah, and Rublev in Bostad last year.
Right.
But yeah, if you're thinking like who he's lost to above 250 level, then yeah, he's lost to Alcaraz twice, Nadal once, Djokovic twice, and in Mexico, Diminor. So I feel like he could be forgiven for losing to Djokovic, Alcaraz, and Nadal.
Yeah. It's the Tsitsipas and Diminor ones, but I suppose at the same time, it's not necessarily the scores against Djokovic and Nadal in the Roland Garros finals. It was more the performance. It felt very sort of accepting that he was playing a better player than him.
I think that's what happened in the Nadal final. I wouldn't say that's what happened in the Djokovic final.
I suppose the first set, yeah, Djokovic had to fight back and win in a tiebreak.
And then Djokovic had to win a clutch break in the third to seal the match. Because it was 7-6, 6-3, 7-5.
And with the Nadal thing, I suppose there's always that factor of Nadal is sort of his idol. And there's always felt like there's been that sort of hanging over him a little bit when he's played Nadal.
Kostyuk, by the way, has fought from 40 love back to deuce on the Vondrousova serve, and Vondrousova is probably not happy about how much pressure Kostyuk is still putting on her right Kostyuk has hit 17 winners this match compared to Vondrousova's 6, which is not massively surprising because Kostyuk is a bigger hitter than Vondrousova. It's kind of cute. Go on.
I was going to say Kostyuk's kind of a nice mix of big hitting and also fighting, like not pushing, but that kind of, she fights for every ball. Whereas usually there's kind of one or the other.
She doesn't switch. She doesn't swing for every shot. She knows when not to. Sometimes. Great serve from Vondrousova advantage. Now goes backhand to the Kostyuk backhand. Goes cross court into space, and that was too much space for Vondrousova to run down its deuce. Vondrousova kind of left the space open there, which you'll see in a minute. But I did see. Ooh, that's probably a nice sort of open court for Kostyuk to hit into. So deuce goes. Vondrousova goes out wide. The return from Kostyuk just lands in. Now goes backhand up the line. Backhand cross court from Vondrousova just lands in. Kostyuk manages to scramble that still. Vondrousova goes back behind, has to defend the net for the pass. And it gets another pass from Kostyuk, and that works. And it's advantage to the Ukrainian to get an early break in this second set. Yeah, that kind of went from Vondrousova trying to control things to ending up having to defend at the net from a scrambled shot from Marta Kostyuk.
And that's what Kostyuk does to you. She just does not give up at all.
Again, managed to retrieve that serve. Vondrousova's kind of stepped in, tries to drop shot at the net, doesn't work, ends up in the net, and Kostyuk breaks. And they go change ends with Kostyuk seemingly consolidating the momentum from that first set. Yeah. I mean, thoughts on what Kostyuk is doing right so far in this match, Matt?
I mean, I think other than that blip as such in the first set from 5-1 up, I think she's just making Vondrousova play those extra balls, and Vondrousova just isn't putting her away the way that, maybe because she isn't as big of a hitter, that she can't put Kostyuk away, and therefore Kostyuk is getting those balls back, and eventually Vondrousova will miss. I just think, like, obviously it's not just she's hitting a lot more enforced errors as well, Kostyuk, but the winners are the gap between the winners and Kostyuk and Vondrousova is a lot bigger than the gap between the unforced errors.
Yeah, and what I like to look at is the sort of what proportion of points are unforced errors. Points won in terms of like how much are you benefiting from your opponent's unforced errors.
Yeah.
And most of the points Vondrousova has won in this match have been due to Kostyuk's errors, which suggests to me very much that the match is on Kostyuk's racket.
That's how it feels.
Yeah. And so, yeah, for example, like I think only 18 out of the 43 points that Vondrousova has won have not been on have not been due to an unforced error by Kostyuk.
It doesn't feel like I think she's hit less. She's hit single digit winners, hasn't she? So it's not particularly been a winner fest, but it's not what you'd expect from Vondrousova.
Yeah, I mean, there is a certain extent where like her game style encourages it, where she will just keep you going and hit a ball in a way that's going to be difficult for you to hit. And maybe she kind of draws on. She's a bit of an unforced error magnet from her opponent in the way that she plays.
Yeah, definitely.
Kostyuk gets a good return from Vondrousova, who comes in behind it, putting Kostyuk under pressure and puts away the overhead, 30-all. 30-all in Stuttgart. So Vondrousova's, don't count her out yet. And although we're saying that she doesn't hit many winners, she is capable of doing it if she can open up the space or she spots the opportunity. We've got 30-all here. Kostyuk serving at the Porsche end. Say the Porsche end because there's 3 Porsches on the balcony behind her, overlooking, staring at the player, saying, "Come on, come get me, come win me." Backhand from Kostyuk, then just forcing a lob from Vondrousova, which Kostyuk finishes with an overhead, and it's 40-30. Great sort of moving Vondrousova around there by Kostyuk. I'm hoping that whoever wins this match at least has a driver's license, because otherwise it's going to be very awkward if the final with a car on the line is going to be between two players who actually legally can't drive.
Yes. I suppose I'd have to get a chauffeur or something to, but it's not ideal.
I don't know how much of an incentive would a Porsche be if like learning to drive, or like not learning to get your license.
Especially when you've got to travel the world, playing tennis tournaments every week. It's not exactly the career path for a driving license.
That is true. You know, you'd have to be at home for a significant portion of time. That would have to be an intense course over the winter or something. Maybe if you get injured, that's something to do, depending on the injury. First time into the net from Vondrousova at 15 love. Yeah, Sean, I'm not suggesting that like they learn to drive in the Porsche. I would agree. But learning to drive in general. I mean, I'm assuming, I say learning to drive. There are plenty of people out there who have learned how to drive and know the theory around and like have driven a car, just not on a public road and don't have a license for it, or have had lessons, but again haven't earned their license. But yeah, that would be yeah, I don't know. That would be an incentive. But hey, Iga found the time to learn to drive.
Because did she have a driving license for both years?
I think she did. She definitely had driving license the second year. I'm sure she did the first.
Yes, I remember she drove the car the second year.
Yeah. Well, she drove the car both years, but again, she's in a private land, so she'd be allowed to do that. And she wasn't exactly driving far.
No.
Even if maybe she was driving a little fast for the Porsche executive. Kostyuk had just put a backhand into the net to give Vondrousova 30-15 on the serve, but it's a second serve for the Czech, who then follows up with a cross-court forehand, the backhand of Kostyuk, and Vondrousova was trying to pressure the backhand. Now we've got a forehand from Kostyuk to the forehand of Vondrousova, short, backhand cross-court, Kostyuk, and that's a great forehand. It's really awkward, but Kostyuk still gets it back. Backhand from Kostyuk to the forehand of Vondrousova up the line. Slice from Kostyuk in defense. Backhand Vondrousova. Kostyuk cross court. Oh my word, she's caught Vondrousova in no man's land. Now she's got the half volley, swing volley winner. 30 all. That was a great point from Marta Kostyuk. And I guess the problem Vondrousova's got is, you know, her game style does work against a lot of players. That's why she's top 10. That's why she's had so much success. And it can work in terms of disrupting people. If you've got someone on the other hand who's very good at just scrambling everything back and will just get the ball back in play, and she doesn't necessarily have the capability, or not capability, but the preference not to just finish it, that's going to be a challenge for her.
Yeah, I wouldn't say the power is necessarily there. Whereas if she had Kostyuk's power, then maybe the points would be shorter.
That ball was there for Kostyuk. It was right there. She was at the net to put the volley away, and she puts it over the baseline. 40-30. She may have just given Vondrousova an opportunity to keep the pressure on here. Otherwise, it could have been a point for a double break. 40-30 for the Wimbledon champion, who puts the first serve into the net. Gets ready to bounce the ball. Second serve. Goes short. Forehand from Kostyuk. Forehand cross-court from Vondrousova. Backhand cross-court. They're trading cross-court now. Kostyuk goes up the line with the backhand, which is forcing Vondrousova to defend. Gets that, though. Backhand cross-court from Kostyuk is too good. Again, right into space. Vondrousova cannot run it down. Just puts it into the net, and it's deuce. Yet again, the backhand cross-court opens up, and Kostyuk more than capitalizes on it. It's interesting, given it's obviously going to the Vondrousova forehand. First serve is long from Vondrousova, trying to avoid the double break here in the second set. She was a double break down the first, remember. Kostyuk's now in the zone, getting ready to return the second serve, who goes for the backhand up the middle. Backhand inside out from Vondrousova, who comes in behind. Now we've got Kostyuk running in with the slice, for going back behind. But Vondrousova manages to just about run it down and scoop it past and gets the advantage. Not bad for Marketa Vondrousova, who I've just seen is sponsored by Red Bull, like Elena Rybakina. So that would be a fun match for their respective sponsor if they were to play each other in the final. Not that Red Bull don't already have enough success on Formula One. But that's another story. So we've got advantage for Marketa Vondrousova, who has to get this job done on a second serve. Now goes out wide. Backhand from Kostyuk. Long. Vondrousova celebrates. They're going to a change of ends. She just about digs herself out of trouble in that game and keeps it to just the one break in the second set. Are we expecting this match to continue to be a bit of a battle, Matt?
I think it has to be, just based off how Kostyuk's played the whole week, how she plays in general, and Vondrousova, just her game style as well. It's not going to be clear. I don't think who's going to win the match until they shake hands at the net. I really don't think it will be.
You think we might end up having another three-setter?
I think so. I just think as well, Kostyuk, especially with that backhand volley, I think it was a 30-all. She really should have taken that and got herself a break point. Double break point.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. We'll see. As we said, so far, it definitely feels like it's on Kostyuk's racket. The minute Kostyuk is able to force the issue slightly more, that's not necessarily saying that Vondrousova's disruptive play isn't having an effect, because it definitely is. But Kostyuk is definitely able to get plenty of balls back in play and kind of throw that right back at Vondrousova. And that does seem to be how this match is progressing.
Definitely. I just think Kostyuk is reading Vondrousova's game quite well, and just has the power to go from defense to attack, whereas Vondrousova doesn't necessarily have the power to finish the points off.
Yeah, generally she's very much more about placement. I think she can swing through it a little bit Kasakian in that respect, but yeah, it's not the same drive. She doesn't usually get the same drive. As evidence there, she puts her backhand into the net, trying to return the first serve from Kostyuk, who fist pumps, having won that initial point. 15 love. Goes long with the first serve, though. Trying to finish this off. Mid box, great second serve is mid box, and Vondrousova puts it into the net again. Hasn't got a return over the net yet this game. They love Kostyuk. By the way, if you are watching, if you are new, by all means, please interact with us with the chat. Like, we'd love to hear from you guys as well. If you're watching, you're the commentators as much as we are. First serve into the net from Kostyuk. It's another second serve here at 30 love. Double fault. Can't get a serve over the net. 30-15. When does the Madrid draw come out? Do you know?
I don't. I know that the WTA main draw starts the Tuesday and the ATP starts the Wednesday. Because I think the WTA draw overlaps with the qualifying draw.
Yeah, it's a bit of a complicated setup, that one.
I'm not particularly the biggest fan of it. I prefer it when it's all kind of the qualifying's done and then the main draw is ready to go. Oh, someone in the chat just said Sunday at 6 p.m.
Thanks, Shauna. Yeah. So we've got Kostyuk at 40-15, by the way. There we go. I think Kostyuk 40-15 to try and finish this off. Yeah, so I think we're kind of glued to that because there's going to be a lot of different storylines to keep an eye on in Madrid. You know, how's Iga going to bounce back from the Stuttgart loss? You know, who's going to win in Madrid if Djokovic isn't playing and Alcaraz might be out of action? I think those are going to be kind of the key stories from there. Is Tsitsipas going to continue with his momentum? Obviously, he's in the Barcelona finals. No guarantee he's going to win it, but are Tsitsipas and Ruud going to be there? Oh, Sean is saying, Sean, do you mean 6 p.m. today or 6 p.m. tomorrow?
He said higher up. He said Sunday, so I assume that's what he meant, which would make sense.
Yeah, that's what Sunday. Yeah, Sunday. So yeah, so just under 24 hours.
I suppose for Swiatek as well, it's the biggest clay court title she hasn't won yet, having lost in the final last year. So that must be a goal of hers to claim that.
I think it's a goal of hers to win every title, to be honest.
I mean, yeah, every draw she's in, that's always going to be the aim.
But you're right. Yes, it's kind of, you know, it's a point to prove that, you know, she can get that win, get that sort of title that she's not quite got yet. So there you go. Yeah, Kostyuk held and has got love 15 on the Vondrousova serve, by the way. But yeah, I think the big, that is going to be the big shout. Is what's going to has Serena going to bounce back on her title defense? She's currently 4 wins, 4 losses since the Australian Open.
Yeah, and I suppose with Swiatek, she's not been used to having this extra day's rest because she's always been in the final, and that actually might play into her hands. It's only one day, but
maybe. I think she's going to be motivated, that's for sure, and she's going to go deep. I think it takes a lot to take. I think I only see Sabalenka and Rybakina as the only people who could take her down on clay.
Yeah, I think I'd agree, and I think for Sabalenka that the Madrid clay suits her very well as a 2-time champion at the tournament.
Yeah, although she does have to have a 1 year on, 1 year off basis. By the way, it was love 40. A slice attempt from Kostyuk ends up in the net, so it's 15-40, but it's another 2 break points to try and get a double break on the Vondrousova serve. Backhand in play from Kostyuk off the return. Now she goes she goes up the line with the backhand. Slice from Vondrousova. Kostyuk goes cross court and then comes in behind, tries to volley at the net, but that was a shot right at her by Vondrousova, and Kostyuk's attempt at volley goes over the baseline. It's another break point missed. Third one coming up, and Kostyuk's really frustrated she's not got the job done. Shauna, I would love for Coco Gauff to be in the mix as well. I said it considering the mix for the Madrid title if she doesn't play Swiatek. And Vondrousova puts the overhead away to save the other break point. So back to Juice. Yeah, I think Gauff. I have more faith in Gauff's ability to beat Swiatek than a lot of people do, but maybe not on clay.
Yeah, because she's only won. Her only victory against Swiatek was in Cincinnati, right?
Yeah, so fast hard and American hard as well, which I think obviously suits Gauff. Great return winner from Kostyuk on the backhand, and she's doing double come-ons. Great return winner on the inside in. Return backhand, and another break point to face for Vondrousova. Gets the first serve in play. Now tries to go cross court, but Kostyuk's there, slices that back in. Still on the defense. Vondrousova's going to have to try and put the overhead away. Misses it completely. And it's a 4-1 lead for Marta Kostyuk with the 2 breaks.
It's a tricky one because you've got to think that Kostyuk really has to be winning this now, but it's hard after that first set to say, yeah, this is hers definitely, because she was 5-1 up with a double break in the first set and ended up going to a tie break, so it's hard to be definitive about anything at the moment.
Yeah, it is hard to be definitive because obviously, yeah, you're right. She has been here before. Maybe that's going to put some pressure. Maybe it's going to motivate her a bit more, or maybe make her focus. Kostyuk. Ghosty asking if we're on the verge of a Kostyuk era. I'd say kind of need her to beat. I don't know. She's beaten Goff. That's a good win. Kind of need her to beat Rybakina tomorrow for me to be convinced of that, or to get a win over Świątek or Sabalenka. And I thought you'd appreciate that phrase, Ghosty. You're probably very, very familiar with it. So yeah, we're into a change of ends. Marta Kostyuk is involved. How many slam champs has she beaten? Don't make me do quick research. Like Wikipedia doesn't usually list slam champions. It only really lists top 10ers. Well, having said that, is there a person who's won a slam who's never been ranked in the top 10? I think even Emma's made it.
Emma got to 10.
I think she just about clinched top 10 right before the US Open 22, if I remember right.
Yeah. And Kostyuk has beaten Emma once.
Yes. Although, beating Emma like right now is an achievement. It's a great drop shot from Vondrousova, by the way, to get to love 15 on this Kostyuk service game. As Vondrousova's going to try and kill this Ukrainian momentum right now. Yeah, I think. Let's have a look. Here you go. Wins over. Okay, it's only listing wins over people who were in the top 10, not like former top 10. But she has six wins over top 10 ranked players in her career. That's first of which came at Wimbledon last year. She's beaten Mireia Sakkari, Caroline Garcia, Ons Jabeur, Jessica Pegula, Zhang Qinwen, and Coco Gauff.
She's definitely not a good draw for anyone, and the thing is now she's seeded, so I suppose in some ways it's good for the players who are seeded that she's not going to be a first round opponent or second round if they've got a bye, but it's just a horrible player to play, like especially early in a tournament, because she will make you play those extra shots, can catch you out.
She's making Vondrousova play. Vondrousova goes for the lob, and the Kostyuk reaches the overhead. It was a bit awkward, is a little bit behind her, but she gets the job done. And yet again, she's celebrating. She's at 40-15. I don't think that's. Hang on, let me fix the scoreboard because I don't think that's really clear. How's that looking? Much better. Right. 40-15. Marta Kostyuk. Just have a game away from this match. First serve is very wide, and that second serve is wide, double fault, 40-30. It's not what she needed. Yeah, I agree with you. Marta Kostyuk is a nightmare draw for a lot of players at the minute, especially as earlier in the draw, she's fresher. I think one of the reasons that she struggled against Iga in Miami. No, was it Iga? No, it was Indian Wells they played in the semi-finals, and she was just a little bit out of gas, I think. Not out of gas there, though, because she's just put away that forehand for a win, and she's now 5-1 up once again with Vondrousova serving.
It'd be interesting to see if she can actually take it from 5-1 now and not go the long way around it.
For sure. Shawana confirming the Grand Slam champions that Kostyuk has beaten. She's beaten Coco Gauff, Elena Rybakina, Barbora Krejcikova, Emma Raducanu, and Garbiñe Muguruza in her career. Decent list.
Yeah, kind of, I don't know if it's fitting is the right word, but it's just interesting that Muguruza's getting brought up again, considering she's retired today.
That's it. She just saw how well Marta Kostyuk is playing right now. She's like, I can't beat that.
Yeah, I can't do it.
Tell you what, this Grand Slam champion's having trouble against it. It might go up to 6 Grand Slam champions beaten by Marta Kostyuk. Although Vondrousova was going to make it work for it because it's 30 love. Did a drop shot that Kostyuk wasn't able to run down. So yeah, Vondrousova would be the 6th person on that list. So yeah, there's definitely flashes of potential from Kostyuk. It's just that she's never won 5 consecutive matches at sort of 500 level or above.
I think that's just her game style makes that very difficult to achieve something like that. It's just because a lot of her matches are very long, drawn out matches, and that does catch up to you in the latter stages of tournaments.
Yeah, that is true. Although there are some players who do all right with that. Kasatkina does, Goff does, Haddad Maya does. You know, there are players who have a bit more endurance to them. Great work from Kostyuk putting Vondrousova under pressure, but loops that inside-out forehand from the mid-court into the tram line when arguably the space was there to hit it into. And I can see why, because she was kind of falling backwards trying to hit it. It was a little bit out of position for her. Ace from Vondrousova. First one for her game. And once again, having to force Kostyuk to serve this one out. So is your Ghostie's asking, by the way, Matt, are you saying that you think Kostyuk grinds too much?
It's a tricky one because what makes her so good is also could cost her. It's like in this tournament, she played before this match, she played almost 9 hours of tennis, and that allowed her to get to this stage. I mean, she saved 5 match points against Zheng. She came for a set and a breakdown against Goff. And although that is really, really like great to get into this stage, is it going to backfire if she reaches the final? Is Rebecca going to go in fresher? I kind of thought that I'd get in this match against Vondrousova, and she's actually proven me wrong. So maybe she's started to find the balance of managing that those longer matches.
I guess my question then would be sort of why doesn't that happen to players like Goff, Haddad Maya, Sorribes Tormo, or Kasatkina, who do tend to kind of grind their way through draws?
I suppose, I don't know if this is relevant to Kasatkina, but Kasatkina does seem to lose a lot of finals, and I don't know if that is because of the longer matches or if that's just because the opponent she comes up against is just too good for her.
I think it's the opponents. If you look at her last 3 finals, she's played Rebecca. She's played Rebecca twice and Collins. No, not Rebecca. Who was the person she lost to in Adelaide? But yeah, she's lost to Rebecca and she lost to Collins in the most recent 2. And those players were absolutely on fire.
Was Adelaide Ostapenko?
Yes, it was Ostapenko, who is Ostapenko. Yeah, well, thanks, Sean. I knew it was a big hitter. And yeah, Ostapenko, when she's motivated, is very difficult to stop.
Yeah, and especially with their 2 game styles, if Ostapenko's hitting the ball well, then there's little that Kasatkina can do.
And that's not necessarily going to be a physical match, is it?
No, it's very short points.
Backhand inside out winner from Kostyuk, 15 love, 3 points away from this match. Can she be a bit more clinical compared to the first set? Obviously, she was fairly clinical to get to 40-15 and then got distracted by that service incident at 40-15 that kind of caused a spiral. Hope she doesn't have anything else to cause any other concerns. First serve long from Kostyuk, second serve here at the Porsche Stuttgart Grand Prix. Serves, box, backhand in play from Vondrousova. Forehand looped by Kostyuk. Now follows up with another forehand cross court. Backhand Vondrousova under pressure. Kostyuk continued to pressure the Vondrousova backhand, now changes direction. Forehand cross court from Vondrousova. Backhand. Oh, she was going for the cross court, which has helped her a lot, but it ends up just clipping the top of the low part of the net, and it's 15 all. Ghosty, I think I would describe Matt's accent as Southern.
Yeah, I'm from Coventry, which is like Midlands. It's kind of a bit of a nondescript accent.
Yeah.
It's
Just
like
standard English.
pretty much.
15-30 is another, it's a wayward backhand from Kostyuk, who's kind of face palming that one. 15-30. Are you in Coventry right now, Matt?
Yes, I am. Yeah.
Oh.
I would actually say that my accent probably isn't close to a Coventry accent, but because a lot of people don't surprised when I say I'm from Coventry, but
Backhand from Kostyuk, but who's then going to slice that one. Drop shot from Vondrousova into the net, 30 all. 2 points away from the match. Kostyuk, who's celebrating pretty hard and geeing herself on. Yeah, Midlands accent, Ghosty, I'd say. Are you thinking you're going to go to Birmingham this year, Matt? The 250 might be your last chance.
Well, I can't actually go this year because I'm away, but I'm going to Nottingham. I went to Birmingham last year, and I know obviously with the Queen's situation, there's a possibility that it might be removed.
Yeah. By the way, break point for Vondrousova is a defensive forehand from Kostyuk's gone long. We might end up having to continue this conversation depending if this match carries on. But it's break point for the Wimbledon champion. Gets Marta Kostyuk trying to put this match away and goes along with the first serve. Pressure telling again on the Ukrainian when things start to matter. Goes for the second serve. Goes quite aggressive with it. Vondrousova goes even more aggressive for the turn and puts it into the tram line's deuce. There we go. So, deuce on the Kostyuk serve. 2 points away again. Great body serve from Kostyuk, who then follows up with a cross-court forehand looped. Backhand from Vondrousova. Awkward. Kostyuk tries to change direction, puts it in the net. Advantage to Marketa Vondrousova once again, and it's another break point. And, you know, Kostyuk was taking some high-risk stuff on serve, but just getting a bit tight on these ground strokes, and she's biting her thumb. Showing her frustration. Goes out, another body serve on the first serve. Now changes direction, comes into the net behind. Goes for the overhead to try and put away. Vondrousova's managed to get that one. Kostyuk gets that bounce and then puts away the smash. Saves another break point. Back to deuce. Kostyuk's coach watches on. Not getting too involved here. Letting her player just get on with it. It seems to be working. Kostyuk. Serves. Gets the first serve. Oh, looks like a first serve, but it's clipped the net, so it's a let. Here we go. Oh. Ball to the ball toss, Kostyuk. First serve again. And it's another let. It's another let. Very, very tight serves coming from the Marta Kostyuk racket right now. Can she find a first serve? No, that's off the top of the net and it's out. So now it's a proper second serve for Marta Kostyuk. Tight times in Stuttgart. Middle of the box. Backhand cross court from Vondrousova, putting Kostyuk under pressure. We've got a Kostyuk backhand that goes inside in. Gets the job done. That's a winner. And she's celebrating because she now has a match point for the first time. This is a chance to get into another 500 final to face off against Elena Rybakina. What is Marta Kostyuk going to bring here? She's had set points before. She's had in this match. The match point is similar. She has to be clutch here. Gets distracted before that service motion, but now she's into it. But aborts the ball toss. Serves. Gets it in play. And the return to the net. And Marta Kostyuk is into the Stuttgart final. And she is super happy with it. She has been one of the stars of this week. And she's proved it by dismissing the Wimbledon champion. There were some wobbles, but generally that was a very, very strong performance by Marta Kostyuk. What a result.
I would say she's probably, I know they're both 500, but this is probably the biggest final of her career. I would say Stuttgart is one of the bigger 500s on the tour. And to do it the way she's done it is really, really impressive.
The quality of opponent is definitely higher. This has been a packed draw. To make the final when she had to play Coco Gauff with Arina Sabalenka in the draw, with all of the big players playing, having to get through 2 Grand Slam champions, a Grand Slam finalist in Jun Wen, former champion Lara Siegmund. Tough draw, thoroughly deserved. And we were talking about how dangerous she is this year, and she's kind of backing that up now.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, as much as I've spoken about her fatigue, potential fatigue in a final, you're just going to give everything. You've kind of just got to forget about everything that's happened in the week, and just with Rybakina, they've both won 1 match apiece in their head-to-head. Rybakina's is the most recent victory, and it came on the Rome clay, but Rome clay is very different to the clay in Stuttgart.
Yeah, I would say so as well. But look, it's quicker clay, so it should suit. Where was the hard court match again they played?
I think it was a hard court. It was in Moscow.
Yeah, so that's quite fast.
It was a long time. It was, 3 years ago, I think.
Yeah, so 21, which, Rybakina had just been to the Olympic semis, but she hadn't fully broken out yet. I definitely don't see Rybakina making this match physical tomorrow.
No,
that's not how she plays.
No, I don't think it would be beneficial to her either. I think she'd want to keep the points as short as possible.
Yes, she will, especially since she's not exactly had an easy run through either. She's gone 3 sets in every match.
No. And she'll be going in with a lot of confidence. I mean, both players will be going with a lot of confidence, but beating the world number 1 and the 2-time defending champion is always going to fill you with a lot of self-belief, even if it's just subconscious.
I think it would take quite some falter from Rybakina to, and it's no disrespect to Kostyuk. I'm just talking about the level that Rybakina is bringing right now. We brought in that semi-final against Świątek, and I don't see Rybakina as someone who Rybakina's too good to bring the level required to beat one of her big rivals, and then not bring it in the final. You'd expect that more from someone of Kostyuk's reputation than Rybakina's.
I don't actually know what her final record is. I'm just trying to have a look at her final record. Oh, so she's actually only been in 2 previous WTA finals, the one she won in Austin and the more recent one in San Diego. So it's not like she's got a hell of a lot of baggage in terms of final defeats.
No.
Which is always good. And Rybakina has won quite a lot of her finals. I don't think it's particularly going to bother her either.
No. And a lot of the finals she's lost have been against either her rivals or against players who have been peaking on the day, like Kvitova or Collins.
Yeah. I think it'll be a good final, but I think it'll be a straight sets win for Rybakina. That's what I'm going to say.
Yeah. Well, there we go. That's I'm with you. I think it could be safe. I could see one of those sets being quite close, maybe the first set.
I think the first set is more likely to be close.
But I can see. Let's see how much. I think Kostyuk's best hope is to frustrate Rybakina. If she can run down whatever Rybakina's doing, then throws at her, that's going to frustrate her. If Rybakina doesn't find her first serve regularly, that's also going to put Kostyuk in the match.
Absolutely. I think Kostyuk's going to want to get off to the fastest start, because I think if Rybakina I think she's a pretty strong front runner, and I think if Rybakina takes the first set, I don't think Kostyuk's going to fight back. As much as that probably goes against how she's won this week, I think Rybakina is a level above.
Yeah. And that's no disrespect to Kostyuk, by the way.
No, not at all.
I mean, I've just shown, Shauna, she's saying she's currently 7 in the race. if she keeps this up, on track for top 10, like, you know, to be in the same sort of category as people like, you know, if she breaks top 10, she's in the same category as someone like Sakari or Pagula, Jabeur, Zheng. You know, that's not bad company. To be kind of in the mix, getting a lot of success and occasionally being with a chance of beating a top player is a good career.
Absolutely. And she's 21. There's plenty of time to, like, this could be the breakout year, but there's time to build on this as well.
Just having a look at the stats now that's come up. So of the 66 points that Vondrousova won this match, they were based on Kostyuk's 38 unforced errors. So basically only 28 points. Vondrousova only won 28 points when she forced the issue.
It just shows how much Kostyuk actually had the game on her racket.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it felt like Kostyuk was just able to deal with whatever Vondrousova threw at her and out-frustrated the Czech, who shouldn't be too disappointed. I think she still had a very, very strong result this week, and it's kind of what she needed this season.
Yeah, definitely. But I think coming into this tournament, she won 3 matches this week, Vondrousova.
Yes.
Yeah, so I think
Sabalenka.
Well, yeah, exactly. And it was her first win over Sabalenka in 6 years, I think. And coming into this tournament, I think she'd won 4 and lost 4. So it was a pretty important week for her.
Very important week for Marta Kostyuk. A lot of important weeks going on, by the way. I think we shall wrap it up here. Great result for the Ukrainian, who will be taking on Elena Rybakina in the final, who of course beat Iga Świątek in a very tight match earlier on, which we covered before. Keep an eye on the channel. We're going to try and bring you the Stuttgart final, Barcelona final. Can't promise anything, but that's what we want to do. So more live streams and commentaries coming your way. And of course, ATP Weekly and WTA Weekly will be with you soon. Matt, thanks for joining. It's been a lot of fun meeting you today.
Yeah, you too. Thanks for having me on. It's been good to do my second commentary for the channel.
Yeah. And hopefully many, many more to come. Right. Well, hopefully I'll definitely be seeing some of you for WTA Weekly tomorrow. Keep an eye on the schedule for that. And keep an eye on the channel for commentaries to come. Looking forward to seeing you then. But in the meantime, keep talking tennis, and you know the drill.
If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell so you don't miss out on all things tennis.